So let's have a little chat. Let me get settled here. All right. Let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. And occultism can be used for justice as well. I consider myself an occultist, a justice occultist, an occultist that is about justice. Because to me, there can be no peace if there's no justice. And there is no justice if there's no peace. So they both kind of play off of each other. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, myself included, we always strive for happiness and joy and this and that. But the thing about happiness is that happiness can change. I'm learning happiness is not always permanent. Happiness is really dependent upon the situation that you're in at that particular time. So I always strive for peace and I always strive for justice because so many of us have not gotten the justice that we deserve. You feel what I'm saying? And that I think that is the root of a lot of people's pain and suffering because they don't get the justice that they deserve. Things happen to people and people sweep it under the carpet. I'm trying to help an elderly woman now who is being threatened with eviction. And this woman is 78 years old. She's 78 years old. She's a stroke victim and her apartment is trying to throw her out for housekeeping violations. She's sick. How can she clean up when she's sick? She also has some substance abuse issues as well. The woman is 78 years old. She has health problems. And it's interesting because the people who probably deserve to be put out, they don't put these people out. It's like we're living in a backwards world. You understand what I'm saying? It's like everything is backwards. For example, the people that they call attractive or the features that they call attractive now are really not attractive features. And the people that they call attractive are really not attractive people. And the people that are attractive, we're deemed to be ugly. We're deemed to be ugly. It reminds me of that. It feels like we're living in the Twilight Zone. And it reminds me of that Twilight Zone episode, the old version, the black and white one, where this woman had surgery and her face was bandaged up. And they were trying to correct her ugliness, right? They were trying to correct her ugliness. And see, I know this is going to be a little bit beyond people's spiritual dimensions when I talk about this. Because what people did not understand about that episode was it wasn't about the physicality they were trying to show you. They were trying to tell you that just because something looks good on the outside does not make it pretty. Now, when they took her bandages off, for all intent and purposes, she was beautiful to our standard. But the people that she was around, the society that she was living in, those people had really awkward looking features, but they were the standard of beauty. They were the standard of beauty. She was not. She was blonde and she was pretty. according to our standard. But the Twilight Zone, those features were considered ugly. And the Twilight Zone always gave us little bits and pieces of truth about what was really going on within the psyche and how things really are. See, those funny looking beings that did her surgery in that funny looking society where she did not fit in because she had so-called pretty features, but she was really the outcast, those so-called beings represented black people. So all of these people who do all of these surgeries and Brazilian butt lifts, and now it's coming out that those butt lifts, they're detriment to a woman's, let's just say, private hygiene. You know, getting all of these augmentations of the breast, the buttocks, all of that bullshit. But these are the people that they keep telling us are pretty. These are the people that your average person is putting on a pedestal, especially a lot of men. Men ain't shit. Men really ain't shit. They ain't shit. Black or white or in between. They ain't shit. Because they don't have any peace in their lives. They put all of these fake, felonious ass people on pedestals as standards of beauty when they're really not. These people are ugly. And it's not just about the physicality. Let me go back to that. See, in the Twilight Zone, they were trying to show you it wasn't about the physicality alone that made this person ugly. It was what was inside of them that made them ugly. That is what makes them ugly. It's not just the physicality. It's what's inside of them that makes them disgusting and repulsive and ugly. It's who they are inside. But these are the people who are put on magazines. These are the people who are put on pedestals, even by your average person. And then people wonder why it is hard for the average person to really find someone in this society that they can connect with. Because everybody is looking to be with an ugly person who is masked, who's under the mask of a pretty face. Okay? So everything is in reverse. They allow chaos, they allow chaotic people to take over. They allow now it's all reversed. It's like we're in the Twilight Zone. The people who are ugly are being put on pedestals like they are attractive. The people that are attractive are being called ugly. You tell me that that's not a motherfucking, you tell me that's not a motherfucking spell. You tell me that that is not some type of wicked, demonic motherfucking spell. Because I talk to dudes all the time that are heterosexual, real heterosexual men, not you fake, phony, straight dudes who pretend. I talk to straight heterosexual dudes all the time who be like, well, Sierra, a lot of women don't find me attractive. And gay men, we know attractive men when we see them. And I'm like, what? No, they don't find me attractive. I'm like, wow, that's very interesting. They don't find you attractive, but you are attractive. And I know what people are going to say, well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, that's true. That is so true. But we're dealing with a mass manipulation right now. for whatever purpose or for whatever agenda. I can't put my finger on it on why they would want people who are attractive to be classified as ugly. And how do we play a part in that? Because when I am doing my occult investigations online, I look at people's hidden behavioral patterns. And you always see men talking about, I'm looking for my Harley Q or Harley Quinn. I'm sorry, Harley Quinn. I think that's the name, Harley Quinn, that fictitious character. I believe is she the Joker's girlfriend or something like that? So they have a lot of men, especially a lot of black men, up under the Joker effect or the Harley Quinn effect. So they're not looking for women. They're looking for fictitious characters. You're looking for a Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is a horrible motherfucking person. She commits crimes. She does the most horrible things. And this is the type of energy that a lot of these black men want in their lives. They want that in their lives. I'm looking for my Harley Quinn. And then they wonder why they end up alone. They wonder why they end up bitter and impotent and drunks and drug addicts and destitute. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad. I don't give a fuck. Black China is ugly. I don't give a fuck about her changing her name back to Angela. I don't give a fuck who supports her. I don't give a fuck who likes her. She is ugly. There's nothing attractive about her. She's ugly. So is her mama. They are ugly fucking people. But these are the people that are put on pedestals. But your average looking woman has to go through all of these tests and trials and tribulations and combativeness with these motherfucking men because they don't look like Black China. Black China would have been that woman in the Twilight Zone. But we allowed these people to take our motherfucking power. Black China would have been the woman in the bandages in the Twilight Zone. She would have been the exception to the rule. I don't think y'all hear me though. So we live in a world where everything is backwards. You can't even accidentally ring someone's doorbell without getting shot. We're living in the Twilight Zone. And yes, I'm talking about that young man who was shot all because he rang the wrong doorbell. He rang the wrong doorbell. And he nearly lost his life because of it. But you want me to believe that everything is normal and everything is okay, right? Right? You want me to believe and trust in white men when white men are very racist. They have an apathy when it comes to black people. They are very demonic. They are insane. And a lot of black men are intertwining in that energy. Here's what I'm talking about. Just because someone is a genius does not mean they should be leading. Because a lot of people who are geniuses, a lot of them have severe fucking problems. You need someone who's not as smart to help balance out that motherfucking energy. The world is being led by insane geniuses. No one ever said that a crackhead can't be smart and intelligent. But should that crackhead be working in a bank? Should that crackhead be working around children? I don't give a fuck who it offends. I'm talking about the world that we live in. There's no justice, there's no peace, there's fake happiness, there's a mask of happiness. But when you peel back the layers, it's not really happiness. It's fake. It's misery. You can't be happy if you have not had any justice. You cannot be happy if you have not had any peace. You can't be. But we're supposed to sit here continuously and say, oh, everything's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. Nobody's held accountable for anything that they do anymore. No one's held accountable for anything that they do anymore. The elderly woman that I'm trying to help so she will not be evicted from her apartment, when I called legal aid, they told me, well, you have to be her power of attorney in order to speak for her. What, bitch? What do you mean I have to be her power of attorney? I'm not asking you for any information. I'm calling to give you information because this woman has had several strokes and her speech is not that great. This elderly woman has had several strokes and her speech is not that great. So then she says, well, you can be on the phone with her. Even if I'm on the phone with her, how do you know? Anyway, it just doesn't make sense. They don't want people to have advocates, especially black women. They don't want anybody to speak up for them. They don't want anyone to have any, they don't want black women to have advocates. They don't want you to do anything. They are targeting black women. That's the T. They are targeting black women. They will evict black women before they will evict black men. They let black, crazy, psychotic men do whatever they want to do. They allow them to attack people. They allow them to rob people. And they give them slaps on the wrist because now you can't say anything because it would be considered racism. But that 16-year-old boy who was shot by that racist old white man, he's the real victim of racism. But these old, recalcitrant, yellow toe, funky, halitosis breath, crackhead, cheesy, dick ass motherfucking niggas, they don't do anything to them. They don't do anything to them. They allow them to create chaos and mayhem in communities across the board. But you want to throw out a 78-year-old woman who's had multiple strokes over some housekeeping fucking issues. But you allow grown ass men to assault women, elderly women, you allow that. But you want to take action, strong action, to throw out a 78-year-old woman over housekeeping issues. What a wonderful motherfucking America we live in. What a wonderful fucking America that we live in. You motherfuckers are going to get that motherfucking work. You gonna get that motherfucking dark work. Trust me. You gonna get that dark work. Fuck all that technical shit. And all that technique and all of that. Oh, you put your finger in your index finger in your nose and you tilt your head on the side of the thymus gland and did I say that right? Or the thalamus gland and the pineal gland, and you do this so you can talk to Jupiter and talk to Neptune and fuck all that shit. I don't have to do none of that shit to talk to spirit. I was talking to spirit today. And you know what spirit told me? It said to me, Seer, There can be no peace if there's no justice. And there is no justice in this motherfucking world. There is no justice. I know I sound like a drunk right now, right? I know I do. Because I'm drunk off of the spirit, not spirits, off of the spirit, the supreme spirit. I'm drunk off of the spirit, not imbibing, not liquor, but I'm drunk off of the spirit. I don't need liquor. I don't need weed to relax me. I don't need weed or liquor or any type of stimulant to get me into the spiritual world, because I am the spiritual world. Just like some of you are the spiritual world. Whatever your magic is that you do, whatever your practice is, that's what you do. I did a ritual this morning for wisdom, guidance, and strength to deal with the shit that we're dealing with in this world. We're in the Twilight Zone. We are in the Twilight Zone, literally. I did a ritual this morning, and then shit, some money came through. And it wasn't even a money ritual. That's how powerful this shit is. I wasn't even looking for no money. I did that ritual. The next thing I know, I looked at my phone. Money's coming through. I was like, huh? But that wasn't for money. But that's spirit. Because when you're doing the right money, and it doesn't matter how much it was money. Because I walk in prosperity. I walk in power. I walk in protection. And can't no motherfucker put that asunder. Can't no motherfucker do anything to me. That is how I walk. That is how I talk. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. I don't care what happens to this body. I'm going to always be here. See, this is spirit talking. This is real spiritualism and occultism right here. You do your own fucking ritual and you let it take its course. It doesn't matter what you are. You can be a Christian, you can be whatever. But you live by your own set of motherfucking rules. And if you have to incorporate other rules and other guidelines, you do that if that's what you will, if that's what you want to do. It's your will. It's your will. See, I've come to the conclusion, and Spirit has been telling me this too. Black men, or men in general, they're not man enough for me. It takes a whole lot of man. The only man that was man enough for me was Christopher Berry. Nobody else. It takes a whole lot of man to deal with me, because I'm a whole lot of man to deal with. Okay? And most of these motherfucking niggas, most of these motherfucking white men, Latin men, I don't care what race they are, they're not man enough to deal with me. Hell, they're not even man enough to deal with women. A lot of them. That's why women are surpassing you. In areas that, whatever. That's why women are surpassing you. And when I say surpassing, women are saying, I don't need you motherfuckers. And I'm not telling women not to like men or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is women are becoming more comfortable with being by themselves and walking by, not saying that they want to be or should be, but a lot of you men, you're not man enough. And when people say that, the ad hominem attack is this. Well, she's too fat. Her body don't look right. She don't cook. She don't do this. She got kids. She got that. Do you realize we live in a society, and the only thing that this society, do you realize, let me say it this way. Do you realize that the society that we live in The only thing that it does, and I don't give a fuck who gets offended, I don't give a fuck who don't like it. Do you realize the society that we live in, the only thing that they look at is your flaws? That's why I say we live in the Twilight Zone. You're fat. You don't have this feature. You're this. You're that. You're this. You're that. You don't know that. You don't know that. Now I understand physical attraction, all of that. Get it, got it, no issue. But they will find one flaw or one glitch so they can begin attacking you. That's what a lot of these men do. Women probably do it too. Not taking that away, but I talk about men. I talk about men. And I'll talk about women when I need to. But I'm talking about men. Because most of my interaction is with other men. I don't have this combative relationship with too many women because I'm afraid of women. Okay? Okay? Because women can fuck you up. Women can fuck you up. So I try to keep the peace with women. I ain't no punk. I ain't gonna let nobody do anything to me, but I try to keep the peace with women because I'm a man. And I don't believe in arguing and going back and forth with females like that, like a lot of you bitch niggas do. Gay and straight and heterosexual. I don't believe in doing that. That's just not me. I get up in niggas' motherfucking faces. Now, yeah, I had to cuss a bitch out, that crackhead bitch out that time because she was out of line. Yeah, I did that. And I stand in it. And I meant every fucking word I said to that hoe. But I like getting down with men. I will put my hands on a nigga in a motherfucking minute. You feel what I'm saying? I try to keep the peace with women as much as possible. If they're not a crazy, psychotic ass motherfucker, I try to keep the peace with them. But what I have realized about a lot of men, especially black men, they're not man enough for me. It take a whole lot of man to deal with me, honey. It take a whole lot of man to deal with me. And like I said, they're not even man enough for a lot of women. They bitchy, they whine, they complain all the fucking time. Something's always wrong, something always ain't right. They looking all at you. They act like straight fucking bitches. And you tell me that that's not spell work. Tell me that that's not spell work. No, sometimes it ain't you being a witch. Sometimes you just a bitch. You just a bitch. Men can be bitches too. They can. Always talking about somebody's body, always judging somebody. That's all this culture does now is look at people's flaws. They don't look at what a person may have to offer. They discard people or disregard people and throw people away that may have real value, that may bring real value to your life. It may not be monetary value. Maybe that person has some wisdom they can offer you. Maybe they have some advice they can offer you. Maybe they can be that missing piece. It doesn't have to, everything is not about sexual and romance and being in a relationship. I think we have romanticized the idea or the ideologies of always being in a sexual or intimate or romantic relationship. And then once you get in them, you realize you don't like them. They look at your flaws. They look at everything that you may do not in a perfect manner. And most of these people that do this shit, they are some of the most evil. They're some of the most backwards. They are some of the most corrupt. They are drug addicts, alcoholics, mentally ill people who will not go and get help. They are cursed. They come from cursed bloodlines. They come from pedophilia. They come from incest. They come from all of that fucking shit. They come from all of that shit in their bloodline. We all have some dysfunction in our bloodline, but do you allow the dysfunction to control you or do you control it? Or do you control it? That story of that young teen that was shot in Kansas City, Missouri, that just shows me that shows me that white men in this country have an apathy for black people, especially black men. They have an apathy for black men. They have an apathy for black women. And I don't give a fuck if you're in an interracial relationship or not. I said what the fuck I said, and I ain't taking it back. I don't give a fuck. He is some black woman's son. And if he shot him, that's like shooting his mother as well. Because each and every last one of you all will, you know that if that was your son that shit happened to, you know you would be devastated. Luckily, he survived. And they locked that old bastard up because there was a racial component to it. And to add insult to injury, I'm assuming he was in a white neighborhood. They would not even help him. No one would help him. He finally went to one house and they told him, get on the ground and put your hands up and we'll help you. What a wonderful world we live in. Now, I understand people are afraid because a lot of the violence that's going on in our country. I get that. Good, got it. But once you saw the blood, you should have known that something else was going on. And 9 times out of 10, in that area, it's no black person that you need to worry about committing crimes against white people. 9 times out of 10, y'all motherfuckers be committing crimes against each other. Your children commit crimes against you more than black people do. Let's be motherfucking real. Let's be motherfucking real. Have we forgotten about the story about Audrey Marie Hilley, the serial killer? She killed her parents. She killed her husbands, tried to kill her daughter, tried to kill her son. The movie's on YouTube, the Audrey Marie Hilley story. Judith Light played her. Have we forgotten about that? Just like that whole thing with Freaknik that everybody's so up in arms about because it's going to expose a lot of Generation X and what they did sexually back in the day. Let me tell you one motherfucking thing. They're always trying to expose black people and what black people do of a sexual nature. Let me just say it that way. If I showed you my inboxes of all of the white men that have contacted me over the years, asking for head, asking me to sit on their face so they can lick my ass crack, and these are married, so-called straight white men. It doesn't matter that it's not in some documentary. What matters is it happens. White men are some of the freakiest, perverted motherfuckers on the planet. White men are some of the freakiest, perverted men on the planet. But they're never getting exposed. People accept their perversion. But when it comes to black people, oh, they're loose, they're fast, they're sexual deviants. White men have the corner marked when it comes to sexual deviance. White men have that corner marked. You have to excuse, you can hear that noise. They're doing some work outside. So you have to excuse that noise. They have that corner marked. So I don't want to hear nothing about no motherfucking freaknik. And what's really interesting is that they have black people helping to promote and expose that shit. That freaknik documentary. That's why I say black people are not fucking innocent. Those black devils that are helping, and I heard Jermaine Dupri was one of the people behind it. And we all know what the word is about him, allegedly. We all know what the word is about Jermaine Dupri. All I'm going to say is this: immature, IMX, whatever they call themselves. That singing group. That's all I'm going to say on that. Pedophilia, rape, violation, and all of these other things that are going on. This noise has distracted me. So is this why a lot of men, is this why a lot of you all have an issue with adult relationships? And I've said this before. Because most of you want to be with children, probably, right? That's what Kevin Samuels was low-key promoting. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad. Because all of you niggas, you need a fucking leader. Because you can't lead yourself. All of these grown-ass motherfucking men, you need a motherfucking leader. Because we know you can't lead yourself. Because you don't have a mind of your own. Your frontal lobe is underdeveloped. You have no compassion. Same thing with white men. You have no compassion. Your frontal lobes are underdeveloped too. You have no compassion. You don't know how to socialize properly. You don't understand how your actions have consequences. So it's not just black men or black people who have underdeveloped frontal lobes as they try to promote in eugenics and racism. It's white men too. It's Latin men too. Because some of them are hybrids. Some of these black people are hybrids. And I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. That's why they act the way that they do. Because they lack spirit. They were made in a fucking lab. They weren't made naturally. They don't come from the universe. They don't come from the omniverse. They come from the motherfucking metaverse. The fake world. They have no spiritual origins. All black people ain't. All black people, melanin and universal, and no. All black people are not like that. All black people are not like that. A lot of these motherfuckers come from the metaverse. You think the metaverse just came about? The metaverse has been around. A lot of these motherfuckers come from the metaverse. But I'm not going to get too much into that. Just like these politicians, Justin Pearson. Now, where did they get him from? Did they get him from the basement of the CIA? Oh, I'm not supposed to know about that, right? Over in Langley, Virginia? Is that where they got him from? Huh? From the basement in Langley, Virginia, in the CIA basement? Is that where they got him from? He looks awfully familiar. They just put these people in front of us and tell us to support them because they're supposed to be beautiful people. For all we know, he could be George Floyd, resurrected. We don't know, but we're living in the Twilight Zone. Everything is backwards. Like I said, a lot of these niggas, I've come to the conclusion, they not man enough for me. They're not man enough, and they don't have the fortitude to deal with a man like me. Like I said, it takes a whole lot of man to deal with me. And most of these niggas are passive aggressive bullies. Not only are they passive aggressive bullies, they are passive aggressive undercover homosexuals pretending to be heterosexual. And let me tell you one motherfucking thing. You cannot pretend to be heterosexual no more. You can't be. You cannot do that. You can't. Because the veil is thinning. And who you truly are is being exposed. And the universe is telling you, you niggas need to start living in your fucking truth. You need to stop lying to yourselves. If you like dick, goddamn it, you like dick. Come out the fucking closet. Stop hiding behind conscious niggas. Stop hiding behind pro-blackism. Live in your truth. Anyway, I think that's all I really have to say for right now. There's nothing else I really wanted to talk about. You know, every now and then I have to vent and get shit off my chest. And I know what people, oh, you sound angry. You motherfucking right. I am angry. That's part of my motherfucking magic. That's part of my magic. Anger is good, especially when you can get it out. But when you sit back and act like nothing is going on or nothing is wrong, you know what angers me? Injustice. That angers me. But that's because I have spirit. See, a lot of y'all don't have spirit. So nothing angers you. Just like that motherfucking man in Florida who murdered his baby mama, murdered his son, and then he threw the son's body in a lake or a river full of alligators, and the police found the little boy's body. In the mouth of an alligator. But you want us to believe that black men are innocent. You want us to keep on having this, a fairy tale view of black men. You want us to believe that white men are not just as motherfucking evil and racist as they've always been. And we're supposed to just keep being quiet about it. We're not supposed to look at white men. I give all white men the side eye. I don't trust them motherfuckers. Don't trust them. Don't care who don't like it. I don't trust them. It has nothing to do with their skin color. It has to do with their apathy. It has to do with their character, or rather their lack thereof. They have none. Because they have no spirit. They just have a soul. That is why they're so afraid of death. That is why they're always talking about hell and why they have so many fears of hell and death, because they know once they leave this motherfucking world, that's where most of them are going. Because they're demonic. And you can get mad, you can get glad, you can do the motherfucking chicken wing. I don't give a fuck. If you're a black person and you like white people, that's fine. Maybe those white people are not the ones I'm referring to. But white men are not, in my book, they're not to be trusted. Neither are white women. They're not to be trusted. And historically, they have always done shit to try to fuck up black women, especially, and black men, secondly. They start with the black woman. See, they psychologically attack the black woman and physically, but they physically attack the black man. That's all spiritual warfare. And normally, I don't even talk about shit like this. But that story about that young man being shot, all because he knocked at the wrong door. We don't know if he could have been autistic. We don't know if he could have had some type of problems. We don't know. Same thing with Emmett Till. Come to find out, Emmett Till was autistic. There were things about him, he had some problems. That's like attacking a helpless person. And with autistic people, you have to talk to them a certain way. You know, you get what I'm saying? You cannot be too aggressive with autistic people. I know this because I know young people or young men who are autistic, and I'm friends with them. They're much younger than me. They're in their early 20s. He knows who I'm talking about, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me saying this. And I make it my business, not because it's not about being slow or anything like that. That's retardation. Autistic people are not retarded. The people that are retarded are the ones I consider retarded people the people I consider retarded are people who are functioning like they're normal, but they do dumb, stupid ass shit consciously. Those are retarded people. Autistic people are not retarded. Let me say that. Some of them are very bright. Some of them are very intelligent. Same as with dyslexic people. Some of them are very bright. Some of them are very intelligent. Some of them are very, very gifted. You know, but you cannot just talk to autistic people crazy. You can't do that. They have very sensitive spirits. And you have to be careful how you talk to them. You have to treat them a certain way. That's the way the universe or God made them. Because they're very powerful spiritual beings. Their sensitivity is a power because they can detect danger. So sometimes they have to dumb themselves down to explain things to us. Because they like the person I'm talking about. Sometimes he has to say things to me because he speaks in a very high vibrational dialect. And sometimes I have to keep up with him. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Sometimes I have to keep up with him. A lot of times, I have to be like, can you break that down for me in dummy terms so I can understand it? And he's like, you don't get it? No, because I'm not on that high vibration. I'm not on that level you on. So that's how I feel about that. And like I said, as a disclaimer, my video may trigger you. You may not like it. I may offend you. So go ahead and unsub right now. I should have put that at the beginning, but I'm putting it at the end but I don't believe there's no beginning and end. I think everything just has as is. Everything is just is. So if what I'm saying to you is offensive or if it offends you, then so be it. Maybe it's supposed to offend you. There have been things that people have done to me that was offensive, but they were supposed to offend me to get me to open up my motherfucking eyes about what was going on around me. So that is why those conscious niggas that turned on me over in that occult community over there and that cult that they're in over there, I'm glad that it happened. And I owe them a thanks. I owe them a thanks for putting me on the right track. Those ghetto occult niggas over there where I came from, I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad they did what they did because that opened my eyes and that took me to a whole nother level spiritually where I realized it's not about no motherfucking subscribers. It ain't about no motherfucking interviews. It ain't about, a whole bunch of goddamn this and that. It ain't about that. It's about what are you instilling within you? What are you instilling within you? What are you learning? What are you learning your lessons? Are you conquering your demons? Are you understanding your demons? Are they understanding you? What is it that you can work on more? What is it that you've ignored for a long time? What is it that you've neglected for a long time while living in the twilight zone? Because you can get caught up in the twilight zone frequency or the twilight zone effect. People are disappearing. Nobody ain't talking about it. We had a whole Richard Simmons that disappeared damn near a decade ago. He has not done any interviews. You don't hear his voice anymore, and we just accept that, right? We're in the twilight zone. Everything is backwards. Where's Kanye West? We don't hear anything from him anymore, right? Where's Kanye West? He was making headlines not long ago. Now all of a sudden he's really quiet now, right? Same thing with Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was one of the biggest stars of the early 2000s and late 90s. Now she simply disappeared. I think she's supposed to be living in Dubai. Let's not forget Barbara Walters, who allegedly died last year or early part of this year? She had disappeared for many, many years. Right? Who else? Where's Shirley MacLaine? Where's Shirley MacLaine? Calling Shirley MacLaine. Calling Aurora Greenway. Where's Aurora Greenway? Where is she? She played Aurora Greenway in what's that movie? It's right on the tip of my tongue. They did a part 2, a sequel called The Evening Star. Terms of Endearment. People just disappear and nobody says anything. We just accept that, right? We just accept it. Are we supposed to accept that that is not the real Oprah Winfrey? That's why she don't do some of the things she do anymore. We supposed to accept that. That is not Oprah Winfrey. That is not the Oprah Winfrey I grew up on. Whether you like Oprah or not, that is not the real Oprah Winfrey. But, you know, we're living in the twilight zone where anything can happen, right? Are we supposed to sit here and act like there's something not wrong with the majority of black men in America now? They have altered their appearances. They're getting all these tattoos. They are acting erratic. They're volatile. They have no personality. Black men have always been interesting to me. Other black men have always been interesting to me. But at least the black men, even though back in the day they were bullies and, they were whatever they did, at least back then I felt a connection to them. Now I feel absolutely no connection to black men anymore. They got all these tattoos on them now, all over their face. They've defaced their bodies. They're wearing all these tight clothes. I'm gay and I don't even wear all these tight clothes like they do. Who are these people? They lie and say that they're tops when they're really bottoms. They get mad because you don't want to fuck them in the ass. They get mad because they can't get no dick in their fucking mouth. But then they got girlfriends and wives, right? And we're not supposed to say anything about that, right? Same thing with the white men. What the fuck is wrong with them too? They tripping too. They're tripping too. White men didn't be this. White men did not be. I'm sorry. White men did not. They didn't used to be this passive aggressively. These passive aggressive motherfucking emotionally deranged bottoms. They told you what they were and they lived in it. White men did not used to be like this either. Either they said they were what they were or they weren't. Either they kept their word or they didn't. We're going back in time. We're going back in time. You got white men who are passive aggressive bottoms, mixed in with racism, mixed in with self-hate, mixed in with self-loathing, mixed in with low self-esteem. Then you got black men who are also passive aggressive bottoms, mixed in with self-hate, mixed in with self depravity. But nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about how black men hate other black people. I've been talking about this for years. Nobody wants to talk about how black men take pleasure in harming and attacking black women and taking pleasure in harming and attacking black people in general. Nobody wants to talk about that. See, my videos don't get a lot of views because I speak truth. I speak the ugly, ugly fucking truth. I don't speak the pretty lies, the pretty little liars and the pretty lies that people want to hear. That's why I'm not a successful YouTuber, which is okay with me. But I am a successful person in life. No matter what it looks like physically, I am successful in what I do. And I humbly accept that of my spirit. I don't say humble towards nobody else. I ain't humble towards nobody else. I'm humble to my spirit and to me. Because when you try to be humble to other people, you always end up getting a hard dick shoved in your ass with no Vaseline. Okay? And if you want something to go in my boy pussy, you got to put some lube back there and you got to know how to make love to it, child. Okay? And that's that. So we're supposed to sit here and just pretend that these things are not happening. We're supposed to sit here and pretend that there's not an issue between gay men black gay men trying to come and take over in the black female area. We're not supposed to talk about how transgenders are trying to take over the female arena of things. We're not supposed to talk about that, right? See, in my day, everybody stayed in their own motherfucking lane. But now you got people over here wanting to come over here. Okay? Now, when I put on a wig and put on some makeup and lipstick, I look damn motherfucking good and can fool a lot of motherfucking people. But at the end of the motherfucking day, I'm still a motherfucking dude. I'm still a man. You can call me a feminine man, but I'm still a motherfucking man. And there's nothing that I could ever do that could compete with a woman. Not in this body. You feel what I'm saying? But we're not supposed to say that, because if you say that, that makes you homophobic or that makes you transphobic, right? We're not supposed to say that black women, black females are right, or white females, doesn't matter. We're not supposed to say that they're right when they say that trans women should not be speaking for them because they're men. They were born men and they altered their bodies, they altered their appearance to look more like a woman. Just because you alter your appearance to look more like a woman does not make you a woman. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad. I don't give a fuck who gets mad. Let me say it again. I don't give a fuck who gets mad. We're not supposed to say anything about that, right? We're supposed to be quiet. Somebody was telling me that they went to a gay club for the first time. And there was a guy, somebody I'm cool with. He's straight. He told me he had said to his gay friend that he felt uncomfortable because he didn't want any men coming on to him. Why can't he say that? Why can't he say that? Are we not entitled to our feelings? Are we not entitled to our fucking feelings? You can be whatever you want to be, and you can do whatever you want to do. But what you don't have the fucking right to do is to tell me that I shouldn't say this. Ain't no motherfucking body gonna censor me on a motherfucking thing. And yes, I cuss. I'm a spiritualist and an occultist that will read your ass for filth and cuss you the fuck out if you get me fucking wrong. I'm tired of playing these games because the LGBT community does not benefit me. Because it benefits followers. They're following a certain ideology or doctrine. They're not following spirit. That is why so many horrible things happen to these so-called LGBT followers. Where do these people come from? I am a solitary gay spiritual occultist. And I do not adhere to anybody else's motherfucking doctrine or ideologies. And that is what makes me a threat. Because I don't adhere to anyone else's ideologies. That is why I can say the things that I say and be comfortable in it. And this ain't nothing against my trans brothers and sisters. It ain't got nothing to do with that. This ain't nothing against my other gay brothers and sisters. Ain't got nothing to do with that. It's the principle that they're using us to promote certain agendas. And I don't go along with it. I don't go along with dressing in drag in front of no motherfucking children. Why would you want to dress in drag in front of children? My niece and nephew to this day don't even know that I'm gay. And it's not that I'm ashamed to tell them. It's just that when I used to see them, I don't see them too much anymore because they beefing with their father and I think they mad at everybody. My two oldest niece and nephew. When I used to watch them when they were very little, the only thing that they knew that I was their uncle. I was their Uncle Seer. And when they came over my house, I was going to feed them ice cream and cookies and let them play video games and do things with them, take them to the park, do things with them that an uncle is supposed to do. I never had any men around them. Anytime any nigga would call me while my niece and nephew was here, I'd be like, no, it's family time. I can't fuck with you right now. Go on about your business. I never brought any men around them. I never had any sex around them. When they went into the bathroom to take baths and showers, they were in there doing that themselves. I gave my niece and nephew the utmost respect because I'm a man. I'm a man. Whether I'm gay, dressed up, I'm a man. And I understand that as men, there are certain ways we have to behave, especially gay men, around children. I don't want any influence to come off on them to influence them in any way. So, with all this stuff that's been going on about dressing in drag, why would you? If that is up to the parents. If parents want to raise them, and I'm not saying teach your children to be bullies and to be, nasty, anti-gay people to go around bullying and degrading people, that is where the problem comes in. But if a parent does not want their child exposed to certain things, they have a right to fucking say it. Because ultimately, all of this shit that they're doing to censor other people, it's going to censor everybody pretty soon. They have a right to say that I don't want my children influenced by that because that's not part of their lifestyle. They can say that. Parents can say that they're uncomfortable with their children being gay. My mother told me a long time ago, I don't like it, but I accept it. She said, I didn't really like it, but I ain't got no choice but to accept it. She can say that. I may not have liked it, but she can say that. She can say that. And this is not to, let me be clear. This is not to appeal to no motherfucking homophobes and anti-gay people. Fuck you motherfuckers. But what I'm saying is we're living in a culture now where you can't say this, you can't say that. Everything is backwards. Everything is backwards now. Everything is backwards. But you want to promote people as being attractive, but you want to blanket everybody else as being unattractive and ugly, even though they're not really ugly. I can see if they were really ugly and unattractive. But you have average people who are, this is the you know what? This is the Antichrist. This is the Antichrist energy. They have everyone marked. Just about. See, you all thought, all these goofy, dumb people thought, oh, the mark of the beast is the vaccine. Oh, the mark of the beast is going to be 666 on your head. That's too obvious. That's not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is you accepting these agendas. 666. You accept being silenced, you accept being censored, and you accept whatever they show you. 666, bitch. You accept it without question. You think they need a world leader to rise up to give you a mark? Come on now. There are 8 billion people on this planet. These motherfuckers can't even keep up in their own local communities. We're living up under the age of the Antichrist and the Twilight Zone. People have a right to their feelings. People have a right to say how they feel without being attacked, without being censored. As long as they're not degrading and trying to harm you. There's a difference between, like I saw a short clip on, I think it was a YouTube short clip, and a black woman was saying, look, I know this may get me a lot of slack, but she said, I'm not going to have no transgender woman telling me how I should be or defining me when you're really a man. And I feel the same motherfucking way. If you were born with the same motherfucking thing I was born with, there's no way I'm treating you like you a woman. We competition, bitch. We competition. Okay? We competition. I don't compete with women because I don't compete where I don't compare. I don't have a pussy. I don't have titties. Okay? And even if you do have titties, it don't make you a woman. It does not make you a female. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I just thought I would come through and give my occult view on current events and everything that's going on. You know what I mean? Just speaking through the spirit. Just speaking through the spirit. And let me say this again as a disclaimer. I don't give a fuck if you're mad about what I say. It's not about you getting mad. There's no bigotry. You have to look beyond the fourth, the illusionary fourth dimension and just understand what's really happening. Anyway, that's all I have to say.